Hi guys, so we are back with a new episode of Trish Crochet. So today's episode is going to be about a very intense topic, and that is know your hooks. Alright, so these are my collection of hooks. So when I was starting off, this was my first hook. As you can see, it's a 3.2 millimeter hook. This was gifted by my friend who supported me a lot in my adversities while I was just starting my journey in crocheting. It's a very minimal hook. It's very hardy. It doesn't have a proper grip to it. Generally, if you buy these steel or fiber material hooks, you might have some trouble having grip to it. For a better grip, you can choose to a hook which is made of steel. The hook is made of steel, but from the lower portion it's all rubberish, so maybe you might get a good grip. I got pretty habituated with this hook and I made beautiful projects out of this hook. This was my first hook, and after 1.5 years I finally purchased these hooks, these bamboo hooks. These are this was a set of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there is 11 hooks here, but one more hook is there which I often use. I think that would be 3.5 millimeter hook only. For some, they might have trouble using big hooks. It really depends on your yarn. I do not use chunky yarn often, so for these I would recommend if you use a 3.5 millimeter hook, or let's say a 3.0 millimeter hook, then your crochet project is going to be very tighter, and all the stitches are going to be very prominent and very clear, and you won't have loose ends or loose starting or loose stitches in between your crochet project. So that when you make any crochet project, for example this bag, okay, simple and authentic crochet hook storage bag that I made as a beginner. This was my third project, because as a beginner I made 2 sweaters. Generally as a beginner you make small projects, but I literally made sweaters. I don't know, it doesn't make sense, right? But I made sweaters. I know, right? So this is a bag that I made, and for this bag I used 3.5 millimeter hook. Hands are shaking a lot often. I don't know what's wrong with my hands. Does shake a lot these days. So for this bag, you see here I use this very 3.5 millimeter hook. All right, so it really depends on your yarn, the consistency and the thicker and or thinner version of yarn that you're using. Based on the yarn, I would recommend you to use your hooks. For example, this yarn, you see this white yarn, it is a bit chunky. So when the yarn is chunky, I would advise you to use a little bit bigger version of your hook, maybe 4.5. so you really need to get a hang of know your hooks and know your yarn. Use your hook according to the thickness or the diameter of your yarn. So yes, that's my advice to y'all. And also, starting with the basics, resources you need as a beginner to start your crochet, to start learning crocheting or make any crochet projects. is that you don't need all the hooks I have here, alright? All you need is a very basic 3.25 or 3.5 millimeter hook. That would be more than enough. Yes, obviously if you're planning to make only stuffed toys out of chunky yarn, then I would advise you to use just to buy a very thicker version of hook, 5.5 millimeter or maybe 6.5 millimeter. Like I said, it depends on your yarn. The moment you yarn over on the hook, you start making any crochet project, and you have to remember, it's not about memorizing. When you're starting any crochet project, you are going to start off with making the slip knot and making the chains and then making the base and then going with your crochet project, right? So at that time, when the yarn feels too tight on your hook or too loose, that's when you know that you have chosen the wrong hook for your crochet project. So it is not about memorizing, it is rather about knowing that if you have chose a proper hook for your crochet project. Alright, please let me know in the comment box if what are your views with regards to this. So these are the resources you need as a beginner. More than enough, alright? If you need more stitch markers, obviously you can buy more stitch markers. For me, it depends on the crochet project. Stitch markers is the purpose of stitch marker being when you are decreasing or increasing a stitch, or maybe you have left your work somewhere and from the next stitch it's going to be a different stitch. Maybe you are working on a single crochet and then you start off with a double crochet, but you paused your work in between, so you just put a stitch marker on your work and you simply leave it and pause your work. So the very next second when you start your work again or continue your work, you know where to start from. Alright, you don't end up making blunder or totally ruining your crochet project. So stitch marker is an indication, it's kind of like a bookmark for book lovers. Alright, so this is a stitch mark for crochet lovers. In case you left off or paused off your work somewhere, you simply put the stitch mark. Instead of just putting a crochet hook, you put the stitch mark and then you leave your work so that the yarn doesn't come off, or so that you remember where to start from, which stitch to begin with, which stitch to continue from. Alright, and like I said, the crochet hook totally depends on the consistency of the yarn you're using, be it thicker, be it thinner, and a scissor to scrape off or get rid of the excess yarn, and a measurement tape to obviously keep a track of your width, length and height of your crochet project, and a needle to finish off your work properly, so that after making your crochet project, when you have to assemble all the parts all together, obviously you need to stitch, right? So it could be a darning needle or it could be a simple needle. I usually use a simple needle because I'm not very accustomed or acquainted to darning needles, so I just use simple needle, traditional people, right? So these are the basic resources you need as a beginner to start off with your crochet projects or start off your crocheting hobby. Alright, take care guys, loads of love, and I'm a well-wisher, warm regards. I hope that you succeed and you don't give up, stay consistent, and even it could be 5 to 10 seconds or maybe 5 to 2 minutes minutes you can give every day to crocheting, I'm pretty sure you're going to be an excellent crocheter in the near future. So it's all about belief, it's all about consistency. With belief, you also have to work hard. Not exactly working hard, but at least working in a way that you learn. Ho ho ho! All the best. Bye bye! Please don't get yourself tangled in the yarn. Please, please. If you get, so let me know in the comment box how I can untangle you. Ho ho ho. Bye bye.